Well, hello. So we have the camera here in front of us for the interview that we have today. I'll be interviewing this individual who is deafblind, and my name is Amy Musavi. I am from the Arizona Commission for the Deaf and Hard of Hearing, and I'm the deaf specialist there. So you can tell me your full name, and you can go ahead and sign that to the camera.
My name is Luis Tiznado.
Thank you. So what is your disability? Are you deaf, deafblind? Could you share that with us?
I am deafblind.
Okay. How did you become deaf or deafblind, and when did that occur?
I was born deaf, and I became blind when I was 8 years old. So I was born with some vision. It got worse, and I was fully blind by the time I was 8.
Do you have any vision at all? Any partial vision?
I can see a little bit.
Okay, so how do you communicate? Do you use American Sign Language? And do you also use tactile while using American Sign Language? Is that correct?
Yes.
Great. So now I have a few questions for you about your experience as a deafblind person in home, family life, and in school. Also out in the community. So what might be some of your experiences? Could you explain those for us?
My mom went to college to learn American Sign Language. She taught the rest of my family ASL, including me. At school, I learned ASL and Braille. I used a Braille reader and some other kinds of equipment. In the community, I am the only deaf-blind person in Lake Havasu City, and I socialize with other people with disabilities.
Oh, so you are the only deaf-blind person in your community?
Yes.
So how do you communicate and socialize with others?
We communicate using TASL.
Oh, yes, that is Tactile American Sign Language. And they call that TASL. So in school, you mentioned learning Braille. Is that correct?
Can you ask the question again?
Oh, sure. Braille. You learned that in school, correct?
Yeah.
So were you able to read books, get online, use the computer, get your emails? Is that correct?
I've read some books using Braille. I get my email on my cell phone, and I read my emails using my Braille reader. And that's how I read my emails that I get from anyone.
That is cool. Because when I email you, you are very quick to respond. Impressive.
Thanks.
So being a deaf-blind person, what are some of your daily challenges? Or what are some things you can remember, things that you have experienced in the past? Could you share that with us?
Yeah, I had some challenges in school. I wasn't provided with an SSP, and because of that, I struggled in school. The school wasn't able to give me what I need, like Braille or an interpreter or an SSP.
So could you explain to everyone what an SSP is?
An SSP is a person who acts as a guide. They tell me what people are saying, and they give me information about things that are happening that I can't see.
Yes, an SSP is a support service provider. They act as a guide. They show you what is happening in your surroundings. They do several things to help you become more independent.
Yeah.
So now let's talk about some of your accomplishments. Could you explain some to us? As a deaf-blind individual, what would be some of your accomplishments?
I'm able to get around independently. I can go shopping on my own.
Oh, great. So walking around independently, how do you do that?
I use a cane.
Oh, okay, a cane. Let's see, where is your cane? Oh, yes, it's over there on the table. Someone is going to bring that over for us. So does this cane help you daily in your activities?
Yes,
Do you only use this outside or do you use this inside?
only outside.
Oh, okay. So let's see, you were talking about your independence. What other accomplishments could we discuss today?
I can communicate with people using my cell phone. I can communicate my needs and my wants. I can also write on a piece of paper, but if I read what someone writes, it needs to be written pretty big for me to be able to read it.
Oh, okay. So I met Luis last year in La Paz County. They had an emergency training and they partnered with ACDHH for that training. We were talking with various first responders. So Luis, during that, they were trying to communicate with you, trying to discuss about if an emergency were to occur and there was a deaf-blind person, how would they get you out of your home or a building? So what was that experience like for you?
At the emergency training, I met a lot of people and I was able to communicate with them using text messaging in an emergency. We decided that if there was a true emergency, I would sit down in a chair and I would be picked up while I was in the chair. That way I wasn't left out during an emergency. In a true emergency, someone would draw an X on my back, and that would indicate that I need to get out right away because of an emergency. So if there was an emergency, they would pick up my chair while I was sitting in it. And during this activity that we did, it was a water evacuation, and they took me into a boat, and I could feel the water around me. I could tell that I was in a boat, and I was really uncomfortable.
Oh, yes, I remember that. I saw you on the boat, and the wind was blowing your hair. I saw as well they put you on an ambulance, and they also put you on a gurney. They laid you up on a gurney, and you were a bit scared, I could tell. But you had your SSP there, you had a CDI, and then you had a hearing interpreter as well to help you communicate.
Uh-huh.
So what are some of your future plans? Maybe some goals you have in life?
I graduated from high school last year, and now I want to go to college to study meteorology. But before I do that, before I can go to college, I need to go to school to learn some independent living skills, and then I can go to college.
Oh, that is wonderful. How did you become fascinated with weather and meteorology?
I always like to look online to see what the weather will be like. I've always been interested in weather, and I thought that it would be great to get some books and some magazines about weather, and I always like to do research online.
Thank you so much for sharing that with us today.
Thank you.
You're welcome.